Hey everyone, it's Ian again. I was really happy to get all the questions after the Thinker Fair, and I'm glad that you guys enjoyed the video.
I'm Carrie. I'm a STEM teacher in TKG. I've been working on STEM and with kids for a long time, and I had experience working with software. But I'm curious, when you build satellites and rockets, how do you test if it's gonna work? And because it costs millions to billions of dollars, what is a good way to test? And how much testing is enough without actually testing the rocket? Thank you.
How do you test something that is so expensive? It's a great question. They're all great questions. But this one, you have to think about the whole item, and then you break it down into smaller parts, and you can then test those smaller parts. So think of a car. They don't build it and then drive it. You actually would test the wheels or the engine or the transmission or even something like the seats beforehand, before building up the whole item. So that's one way to test something that's really expensive, is you break it down into smaller parts and then you test those smaller parts.
What? How hard is it to make science work?
And the answer for that is it's not hard at all. Doesn't matter who you are or where you live. Science is all around you, so you don't even have to really work at it. You can just look around and find things to experiment with and things to test and things to build and create. So the answer to that is it's very easy.
What was it like studying engineering at UCLA?
I'm going to say it was amazing. I had a wonderful experience at UCLA. I really enjoyed college on many levels, not only just the academic portion or the engineering portion, but the social portion as well. College was a really good time. So engineering at UCLA is a big thing. The engineering school at UCLA is really well known, and I have really fond memories of it. It was exciting to work with other young people like myself and learn from professors and get chances to work in labs. And I actually worked on a buggy car that was part of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. So we had a project where we built a small buggy car that was powered electronically. So that was a fun project to work on. There's just tons of opportunities. It doesn't matter where you go to school. Um, just trying to learn and gain knowledge is always beneficial. So yeah, I have extremely fond memories of UCLA.
How long does it take to build a rocket like that, or a camera?
How long does it take to build a rocket? And the answer to that is many, many years and millions of dollars. If you look at SpaceX, they're building rockets right now, and it's taken them, I don't know, almost 10 years probably from start to finish. But they have a successful product, and they've spent millions and millions of dollars. But then the reward for all of that is more millions of dollars. So it works out, but it takes a long time and a lot of money to.
Do you use hydraulics in mechatronic engineering?
And the answer is yes. I don't personally, but we have test stands that we use to test certain designs, and if you want to automate those require hydraulics. So if you think also about when cars are built, you've probably seen videos of cars being manufactured in a factory, and most of those are done by robots, and robots generally use hydraulics. So that's one cool use for hydraulics.
What do you think? You're a rocket scientist?
Question was, what do you think? You're a rocket scientist? And this was from a guy with a beard. So I don't know if he's part of your class or not, but yeah, I guess I do. I don't know. I'm a lot of things, but an engineer, a scientist, and an amateur cosmologist. I am really fascinated with the universe and the cosmos and our solar system as well. So um, we're all lots of things, but yeah, I guess you could say that.
Why did you want to be a rocket scientist?
And, I don't know. I started thinking about that, and I guess there's a lot of reasons. Part of it was just the way my life went, but other things, if I was to look back when I was really young, my dad used to take me out to these big open fields, and we would fire off these model rockets, and they were called Estes model rockets. They still sell them online. I don't think they sell them in toy stores anymore, but they're pretty cool. It's basically a paper towel tube, for lack of a better explanation, with some fins that get glued onto the sides of the tube, and they sell you these little, they're about this big, rocket motors that you stick inside of that tube and glue it in, and then you stick it onto a little pole, and there's a little battery that you hit the button, and it will light that rocket engine off, and it will shoot that rocket pretty high up in the sky, and then a little parachute pops out, and you get to go retrieve it. I used to love firing those with my dad. That was great. So that's probably where it started at. Excuse me, there's a bug. So yeah, I definitely, that would be one of the early memories I have about doing that thing.
When you send a satellite up into space, how many teams does it have to go through as far as checkpoints to make sure that nothing's broken?
How many people or teams are involved in working on satellites? And there's hundreds of people that work on satellites, any one given satellite. So yeah, hundreds of people. There's multiple teams. There's mechanical engineers, there's electrical engineers, there's quality engineers, manufacturing engineers, test engineers, materials engineers. There's a lot of people that all have to work together to build a satellite. It's a team effort. It takes a ton of people. And then
How many satellites have you created?
I've worked on 4, but again, like I said, it's a team effort. So no one person makes a satellite. It takes hundreds of people all working together and trying new ideas and experimenting and analyzing and testing, failing and starting over. So it's a big process. So no one person ever creates a satellite. It's always a team sport.
Would this survive?
Would this survive in space?
This survive in the space.
Would this survive a rocket launch was the 10th question, and he was holding what looked to be like a little digital toy, and I thought, you know, if you just set it inside of the rocket and let it sit there, no, it would break for sure. But if you think about it, what would you want to put around that little device to make it successfully survive the launch? And I mean, just the simplest one would be, why don't you tape it to a big fluffy pillow and then, you know, mount that pillow in the rocket? It would probably survive then. So that's a way of solving a problem, something that would break before you put it on something much softer that would absorb some of the, you know, harshness of the launch, and then you'd be able to send that into space. So that's the answer to that one.
What's the hardest part of being a mechatronic engineer?
In keeping with the theme of my first video, the hardest part of being a mechatronics engineer is learning that failure is okay, and that, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. It's also, you know, when you fail, sometimes you want to give up, or you might just move on. And the hardest part of any engineering job, I think, is learning that failure is appropriate and required, and that you shouldn't give up, and that you have to keep trying and have to keep thinking creatively and trying new things. And sometimes you can't always see the answer right away. Sometimes it looks really confusing, or it looks impossible to do, but nothing's impossible. So I think that's the hardest part, is always reminding yourself to keep pushing and keep trying and keep doing better. So yeah, I'm really glad you guys sent me questions back. It was great to see that. And again, keep going, keep working hard, keep creating, keep trying new ideas, and you know, go science. All right, thanks guys.